Say what? 3rd down and 2 from the 16, and Tomczak slips. He is down at the 11. Now the Eagles will take a timeout, and they'll get the ball back.
Boy, but again, the Eagles waste 3 or 4 seconds.
Last 4 regular season games when trailing at halftime.
Well, they got themselves set up perfectly.
We'll see if Gizmo here can dip into the old toolbox and come up with something.
Maury Buford's kick is a line drive, and Gizmo has to run over, and then he fields it on a bounce and gets buried by Ron Morris at the 40-yard line. So here comes the Bear defense. Ryan left, Tobin took over. The Bear defense hasn't missed a beat. William Perry seeing a lot of action tonight. Fridge is back in. We mentioned the Fridge at about 340 pounds. And Dan, you know how hard it is to take off weight. They've had him on diets and eating disorder centers. He's tried everything but the Anushka Institute, has the Fridge.
How dare you bring me into this conversation? What do you, I know nothing of the kind. What are you talking about?
I meant Dan Daniel. The catch is made by Keith Jackson.
I do have a legitimate question, though, Dan. Seriously. If you weigh over 300 pounds, what do you weigh yourself on?
I don't know. Ask somebody else.
What do you mean?
That's a legitimate question.
The Eagles are at the 50-yard line. I know that. The Eagles are at midfield with 26 seconds left, and I resent this a great deal.
I guess you could go down to the ice house.
Oh, aren't you cute?
I'm out of it. 2nd down and 1 from the 50. Cunningham throws to Byers, and Byers will get out of bounds at the 43-yard line. 20 seconds remaining. Again, the Eagles have 1 timeout. Lemuel Stinson with the coverage. Their kicker, Luis Zendejas, has been very good. Good long-range kicker. And right now, of course, they're still out of field goal range. There he is warming up.
If you go by the flags at the top of the stadium and also the flags on top of the goalposts, then Dejas, if he gets a chance, would have to kick into the wind.
1st and 10 from the 41. Cunningham scrambling and stops the clock by going out of bounds at the 38, but now he's down to 12 seconds.
And when those 10 or 12 seconds look good back up on that clock that they wasted before they chose to call the timeouts a few moments ago.
That's an excellent point, Frank. That's an excellent point. We brought it up at the time. You know, you talk about urgency. You talk about a second here, a second there. The Eagles easily have squandered 10 seconds in the exchange, getting the ball back from the Bears when the Bears were back by their own goal line.
You saw Zendejas warming up. His longest field goal, 50 yards, the longest of his career. Cunningham. And Jackson can't make the one-handed catch with 8 seconds. That would have gotten them into field goal range. Right now, they're just out of it.
And he was wide open. Keith Jackson was wide open, and Randall just led him a little too far. Look how open Jackson is. Oh, and that ball just a little too far out in front. Tremendous effort by Keith Jackson. He just couldn't bring it in.
He is your man when they flex Jackson out. Well, his rookie a year ago, they moved him out to the right. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't come right back with it. Number 88.
Got to be a quick pass. There's no time for Randall to scramble
Can't take 9 seconds, that's for sure. And it's nearly intercepted. Lemuel Stinson had it in his hands and dropped it on the pass intended for Jackson. So now the line of scrimmage is the 39. If you're thinking field goal, it's 56 yards.
And let's go back again to how lethargic the Eagles were. They have cost themselves a play. They have cost themselves 1 full play here, with there only being 3 seconds left on the clock.
Right now, they got to take it up into the end zone.
Oh, yeah. Every team has different names for this.
Looking for the defensive foul. Time can't run out on a defensive foul.
But it's known as a Hail Mary. There's a marker down.
It's out of the end zone.
9 players in the end zone.
But reminder, we do have a flag at the 40-yard line, and a half cannot end on a defensive penalty. If this goes against the Bears, 1 more play against Eagle, half is over.
On the field. Defense.
And it does.
Half is over.
Wait a second. No,
that can't be right.
It's on the defense.
How's it, Pat? I think you better back up, pal.
They'll back it up.
Unless you meant offense, Pat.
Oh, they're correcting right now.
We have, hey, you got 1 to go. 1 to go. 12 men on the field, defense. One more play.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go, Pat.
Boy, you got my heart up in my throat there, Pat.
Your heart.
I thought they changed the rules without telling me, and Buddy's heart as well, I'm sure. That's a no-no.
It's a 5-yard penalty, so the ball's at the 34. If you're thinking field goal now, 51 yards. But they're going to go for 6.
Well, if you were on an artificial surface, they might let him go for it. Out of the natural turf, it's against the wind, a little too much, they figure.
As we mentioned twice, he has made 50-yarders in his career, but they'll go for it on the 1 play remaining. And Cunningham with 3 receivers and 6 defensive backs in the end zone.
I think it's intercepted.
Yep, picked off by David Tate. And the Chicago Bears leave the field at halftime, attempting to remain as one of only 3 unbeaten teams in the NFL after Week 4, along with the Giants and the Rams. At the half in Chicago, the Bears lead it by a score of 13-0.
You wonder if the Eagles offensively, Frank, are going to be able to shake this. They were miserable in half number 1.
Kevin Butler to kick it. And it's Henry Gizmo Williams. Brought down out at the 27-yard line by Maurice Douglas. And here is Randall Cunningham, 7 for 19 for a total of 51 yards with 2 interceptions. He's carried the ball 4 times for 32. And there are the numbers through the first 30 minutes.
At least getting the Eagle passing game at a positive numbers. Well into the second quarter, they only had -6 passing yards. Tough to lay it all, though, at the feet of Randall Cunningham. He's gotten 0 help from his Eagle offensive teammates.
1st and 10, Eagles from the 27-yard line. Cunningham, who was under wraps, throws, and it's picked off at the 45-yard line. Lemuel Stinson.
And that, remember how I talked in the first half, how Randall Cunningham is running, but when he's running, he's always looking to throw. Frankly, I think there's an instance where he should have kept on running. He might be thinking too much now about passing.
He tried to force that into Chris Carter. There was another Eagle receiver there. That brought in 3 or 4 Bears. Mike Singletary is back there right into the pass. There's Carter, number 80. Actually deflected that ball a little bit.
Somebody better tell Chris Carter, though, that when the ball's coming your way, the object is to catch it, not duck. Mike Singletary gets a hand on the ball, and Chris Carter ducked to keep the ball from hitting it.
Hand off to Neil Anderson, who takes it to the 41-yard line for a gain of 2. Mike Pitts in on the tackle. Here's the play again.
You can look at it again. Now, Singletary will drop right in there. Here's what you're talking about, Danny. Perhaps would have been better advised to run the football as well as he can run it. There is the block by Singletary, and Chris says, well, I want nothing to do with this. It's a little crowded in here. A lot of feet in here.
Chris, you got a helmet on. I mean, it's not going to hurt you.
Oh, well, that would be tough to look at in the tapes.
Ooh,
with all your guys with you.
Granted, it's an instinctive reaction, but still.
In another sport, maybe.
2nd and 7 from the 40-yard line.
Yeah, boxing, maybe.
Or water polo or something.
Anderson gets 2 to the 38-yard line.
Well, whatever Buddy Ryan drew at halftime, that weren't it. That was not the way the Eagles wanted to open up the second half. And we've got an Eagle player down on the field struggling to get up. That's Todd Bell, who's prone.
And they're already -1 starter in the backfield in Wes Hopkins. And now Bell, the former Bear, who was here, you'll recall in '85, both he and Al Harris sat out the season. Bears won the Super Bowl anyway. Now they're both in Philly. Time out on the field, early 3rd period. 13-0, Chicago.
Bell to the left of your screen. I'm going to tell you ahead of time, he takes a real shot on his left knee, and if you're squeamish, don't look. But we've got an obligation to show you the injury. There he takes a blow to his left knee. You see the knee totally collapse. And Todd proved he didn't have to. He's out for 6 weeks, and we can only hope something like that for Todd Bell. But that's That's a serious, serious shot he took on his left knee.
Precisely. 3rd down and 5, and Tomczak's pass is incomplete, intended for Morris. And the Bears will have